Hi guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 2, Week 19. So let's jump right in. For our geography today, we are going to be on the world side of the map. So this is an excellent time to review some of those locations we haven't in a few weeks while we've been on the Europe side. We are going to be over in North Korea, South Korea, all of that area. So review Japan, got China, which we haven't really talked about China, but they can remember that China's there. We've got Russia, all of those over in that area. So just maybe take a minute and review some of those while you're also doing our new locations. So we're going to be just kind of going from the top, North Korea, South Korea, down to Taiwan, then the Philippines, then over to Guam. If you're on the colored side, Guam is like just a word in the ocean. There's not even like a dot or anything. It's so small. If you were on the black line map, let me make sure I'm saying this. Yeah, there's not even a dot for Guam. So I think it's maybe under the compass on the black line map. So you might want to use the colored map just because it's actually written there, but it is not on the black line master. So anyway, I would just point out that Korea is a peninsula. It's attached to China. It's in between China and Japan. We have the north and the south, and we will be talking about that in our history sentence. So make sure maybe tell them to plug those two away to bring out for history. And then if you go down, there's Taiwan, and then the Philippines, which is a kind of a big collection of islands. And then again, Guam is super tiny. So I don't have anything really exciting for those except for finding where they are. So far, we haven't talked about too many other locations around those. So I would just focus on those, maybe talk about that they're in the Pacific Ocean. And then I might jump back over and touch on all of the like the Turkey, Syria, Cyprus. Those are all on this map. And then maybe even go ahead and talk about our Treaty of Tordesillas, the Strait of Magellan. We have all of those on this map, so maybe refresh our brains because we have not talked about that for a long time. We are going to be on the world side, I think for the rest of the time we will be on the world side. So, just maybe go ahead and start reviewing some of these locations so that they're more fresh in their brain. And then you might want to, during review, since we're not going to be going back to the Europe map, you might want to spend some time on the Europe map occasionally for geography. I tend to try to do all of my geography review while I'm using the map, but since we are going to be going back to the Europe map for the rest of this geography time, I probably will spend a little bit of review time doing that. So anyway, for geography, they're really tiny, so this would be a good time to maybe get out those toothpicks to use as pointers. Maybe to let them do a couple of dots where these are going to be. Like they're really not big enough to use any kind of figurines or anything like that for these locations this week. So just be conscious of that as you're planning out how you want to introduce it to the kids. Also, as far as like coloring in or highlighting them, if you're on the colored map, which again is the only one that Guam is on, they're all pinks, so that one's difficult. So you might want to, especially with the younger class, go in and color them in a different color. Just so they can distinguish them a little bit easier. They're pretty easy to find because they're isolated, like they're islands. Well, Korea's not an island, but they're isolated. Korea sticks out enough that you can kind of find it. So they're a little bit easier to find because they're not surrounded by a whole bunch of other things, but they are still all kind of the same color. So you might just want to figure out a way to distinguish those for your younger kids. So anyway, that's what we'll do for geography. For Latin, we've moved now into our perfect tense. The way we remember this is E. So Mayor E. Poppins was practically perfect in every way. So that's kind of our little reminder for E with the perfect tense. We will go through and chant through this. This is their third time they've had it, but they haven't had it since last semester. So you might take a few more minutes than we did like last week with the fourth time they've been through our future tense. I might just remind them what it is. Most of them will be able to chant it really quickly, but just go through with that. And maybe just pass a ball around the room while you're chanting through, or have them squat down and explode on the end if we feel like you need to get a little movement out this week. I like to do that while we're putting our stuff away, and we just chant through it a few times since they've had it already this year. I do have a few students that are going to be doing Memory Master, so at this point they have a lot of this end of the year material they're starting to already have down before they get into class. So I probably won't spend a ton of time on the Latin. For math, we've got our area of a circle. We're almost done with our geometry. We have one more week of it. So our song goes, the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of its side squared as squared. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. Pi is equal to 3.14. So we will sing through that song. I'm guessing at this point, because we've been doing this song for several weeks now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. This will be our 4th week doing it. They'll probably have it down, but we will sing through that several times. I will draw up on the board the area of a circle. We'll write out what pi is and spend a little bit of time with pi as far as like 3.14, what the symbol looks like and everything. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that, but just to kind of put it up there so they understand what they're looking at when they see the area equals and what that means. So we'll do that song for math. For science, we have the first law of thermodynamics, and I just feel like I'll be really impressed that our kids are learning about thermodynamics, because I don't think I learned about that until high school. So we have thermodynamics, which is energy cannot be created or destroyed. So I was trying to think of like a lot of fun ways to do this. I was trying to think of like trying to destroy something. So one of the things I came up with was you could give everybody a piece of paper and they can say, created or destroyed, and they can tear it, and they tear it, but there's still paper. The paper didn't go away. And then you could just do that a few times while we're saying it, so that even though by the end, maybe they have little tiny pieces of paper, they still haven't destroyed the paper. Like the paper's still there. It's just in a different form. So that was one way I came up with. Another thing I thought, because this is going to be still kind of in the cold part of the year where I live, when we're in week 19, and we're going to have orchestra, which they're not moving a whole lot during. I was thinking that it might be fun with my class, and I may just do this anyway. I may just take the tables out of my class. I have a decent sized classroom, but I have 8 kids in there, and we have some extra chairs and things that the church keeps in there, and we've got 3 tables. There's not a lot of room to just move a whole bunch. So I'm thinking about, for the orchestra section, just actually putting some of the tables away and then just having them sit on the floor while we're doing the rest of our day, so that we have plenty of space for orchestra for them to lay down and close their eyes. But I haven't decided if I will definitely do that. If I do that, then I will stay in my room. If not, I may go out we have a larger common area, and I may see if I can use that and let them play Duck, Duck, Goose with this. Excuse me. And just as they're going around, say the first law of thermodynamics states energy cannot be created or destroyed. And whoever they hit on destroy, they will get up and chase them, and they'll run around and slide back into place. I never play that anybody gets out. We just all have a moment to sit and get up and run. So we'll see. I might decide to do that if I feel like my class needs to move, but I also like the paper idea. That one's easy, and I don't have to take down tables for it. So those are 2 different ideas that you could do for your class. For English, we have a gerund. And this is the one when you get into essentials that everyone's like, what is a gerund? But so present participle verb form. So like a mouthful, and it's used as a noun. So what probably I will do is use our voice cards for this. I haven't done those very much this year, so I think the kids will like them. And I have some that are like for older kids. They have some different type of voices than just like a baby voice or a mouse voice on there. I like to use like Darth Vader. I kind of do character voices. And then I also like to do it where I make them hold their tongue while they try to say it, and pinch their nose when they try to say it. And those just make it a little more interesting. This isn't a very long sentence, so I don't think it will get too repetitive doing the voices for those. So I just intend to have them do the voices, but I will kind of emphasize the present participle verb form. So my class, again, is essential students, so we may spend just like 30 seconds talking about what that is, and it's usually a verb. Usually the verb ends in ing. So if I say, I really love swimming, swimming is a present participle verb form being used as a noun. So anyway, that's what we will do for English. For history, the song for this is, I think, supposed to sound kind of like the, what is it? The Bugle Boy, the famous, the song, the famous Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, that one. It kind of sounds like that one to me, kind of that style. But it has this fun part where it says stop, and everything stops. So if you have younger kids, there's kind of a shaking, like drum kind of sound in the background that you could use shakers for, and then everybody has to stop their shakers when they stop. It would be a great one if you have it memorized and can sing it yourself, because you can hold out the stop as long as you want. Or if you're playing it on the CD, maybe you actually want to physically pause it and just kind of hold and let everybody hold and then start it up again. So I thought too, if you have space in your room, it might be a good one to kind of do like a musical chair styles with have everybody walking around the chair, and then when it says stop, everybody has to sit in their chair and wait, and then start playing the music again. So just another way to add some movement in there if you feel like you need to add movement in for your class, because we're in that time of year where they need to squirm, and with the orchestra, it might be good to get a few extra wiggles out before we have to be calm and centered in our bodies. Now we are to timeline. So for timeline this week, we're gonna start with Lincoln. We're gonna make an L for Lincoln, Lincoln's War between the states, and it's, most of you are familiar with the song, so it's Lincoln's War between the states. So it's really fast, so we don't have time to really do anything else. So we have L and war, and then reconstruction. So we're going to kind of put our hands on top of one another like we're building, and we're going to do southern, which is going to be our thumb on top, and we're just going to bring it down to show the south. It's reconstruction of the southern states. Dominion of Canada is also really fast. This whole section is pretty fast. I don't know why this is the sign for Canada. If you know, I would love for you to tell me, but they just grab their shirt and they pull on it like this. Dominion of Canada. So you're just gonna grab your shirt right here and kind of pull. That's the sign for Canada, apparently. I have no idea why. Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany. So we're going to bring our fingers together. You can use your first fingers or your middle fingers, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna bring them together and you're gonna interlock them like this. So they're just kind of making loops. So Otto von Bismarck unifies, and then we're gonna make the sign for Germany, which is one hand on top of the other, and you kind of wiggle your fingers. And this is supposed to be like the bird that's on the German flag. I feel like it's an eagle, but I'm not positive on that. So this is supposed to be the bird on the German flag. Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany. Okay. Then we have Boer Wars in Africa. So we're gonna put a B, and then we're gonna do our wars. And then we have this Spanish-American War. It is too fast to try to do our sign for Spanish and then our sign for America. So they're just gonna have you do an S and then an A and then war. We got a lot of wars on this one. So the Spanish-American War. And then the progressive era, you're just gonna take your hands and kind of move them forward like this because we're progressing. So Lincoln's War between the states, reconstruction of the southern states, Dominion of Canada, Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany, Boer Wars in Africa, Spanish-American War, the progressive era. Australia becomes a commonwealth. Anyway, that is all for week 19. Hopefully I am going to be staying ahead of you guys, but I will be trying to get the rest. We have 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 weeks. That's all we have left at this point up, and they will be there for you hopefully when you guys are ready. I hope you are having an awesome last quarter of the year. Congratulations, you've made it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.